One of the questions that's come up in class is how do you check to see if caps lock is down? And if you look at the Greenfoot documentation, there's no support for caps lock. You could check the shift key and the control key and the backspace, but you can't check the alt key, you can't check caps down, you can't check num locks. So none of that's available through Greenfoot. However, Java, the Java library itself, which is what the Greenfoot interface is built on, has these things called key events. And there are a lot more key events available that aren't necessarily available in Greenfoot. So if I'm going to scroll down here, there's one called, I think it's called, yeah, one called caps lock. So there's this field that gets sent as a you know, when as an event when the or it's something you can check to see if the caps lock is down. So there's this, in order to access that, to figure out what that you know, get the value of caps lock, you have to pass it as a key code to this method called get locking key state. And get locking key state is a method in a special Java class called toolkit. So there's this class called toolkit. So let's look at a specific example, and I'll show you how you can use it. So what I did was, this is a simple version of Crab, and what I did was I added a toolkit here. Fix this layout here. Okay, so I created this field called toolkit, and in order to be able to do this, in order to be able to use the toolkit class, you have to import java.awt.star. Okay, just like to use the Greenfoot stuff, you need this Greenfoot import. To use toolkit, you need this java.awt.star. And then, as I mentioned, you want to check this key event. In order to use the key event class, you need to import java.awt.event.star. Okay, so the world is a good place to open the toolkit because you only want to have one copy of your toolkit running at a time. And if you stick it in an actor and you set up multiple actors, you know, you could end up having a bunch of these. So the world is the best place to stick this. So I'm making a field in my crab world, and then I made this constructor. And if you don't remember, or if you haven't come across this before, constructor looks just like a regular method. It has a header very similar to a regular method, except there's no return type. So in general, methods have return types here, right? The constructor has no return type, and the name of it is exactly the same as the name of the class. So the class is called Crab World, the name of the constructor is Crab World. And this one has no inputs. And you'll see probably a constructor in most versions of, I think in all the versions of the Little Crab, there's a Crab World constructor, because it passes this super that tells it how you know, the size of the screen and the size of cells on the screen. So in this constructor, I initialized my toolkit. So I'm just creating the toolkit once in the constructor when the world gets created. All right, and then to check and see if caps lock is on. Now since I have my toolkit already, I can call this get locking state method on my toolkit, and if I pass it the key event that says VK caps lock, then that's going to return a true if the caps lock is down, or a false if it's not down. Okay, and I did one for numlock too, just to show that you can do other ones, and there are other choices. Let me see. For oh wait, let's go down to the, let's find it in here. If we go to get locking key state, there are other choices. So you can check caps lock, num lock, scroll lock, and kana lock. So kana, I guess that's for Japanese, for the Japanese kana, right? And then the scroll lock, I'm not sure what the scroll lock does, but anyway, that's why I just put these two, because I know what they do. But that's just to show you. There are other inputs that you can give to get locking key state. So yeah, so I put those both on. And then in Crab World, what I did, let me see if I can, I mean in the Crab Actor, what I did was, that's where okay, so what I did was I'm setting up here, you might have seen this already, where you can set up Greenfoot images, and I made a constructor for the crab here, and you know, you could make a Greenfoot image here. You know, you can initialize these images in the constructor, a crab image and a lobster image. So this guy's actually going to switch between crab and lobster images. But in the beginning, he's initially set up with the crab image. And then what I did was, I had, depending on where you were at and playing around with this class, you might notice there, I think the way it originally was check key press, look for worm, and then move, or some move was in here someplace. I don't remember where, but I took that out and put it someplace else, and I'll show you why in a second. So what I did was, I have this check key press here, and then in check key press, I'm getting my crab world first of all. Okay, so there's this method called get world. That belongs to the actor class, and then this, where I have crab world in parentheses, that's called a cast. So what I'm doing is, I'm saying when I get the world, make sure it's a crab world, because because it's the crab world that knows how to. The crab world is the one that knows how to check for is caps lock on. Okay, the world doesn't have that method in it. Crab world does. So we have to make sure that when we get our world from when we call our get world here, we have to make sure we're getting a crab world. So that's what this crab world in parentheses is. And I'm making sure that that the crab world object is from the crab world class here. Okay, so then I check here and I say, now I can call my is caps lock on method from my crab world object. So I can say crab world dot is caps lock on, and if it is, I'm going to do the check key press for lobster if the caps lock is down. Otherwise, I'm just going to do my regular old check key press for crab. So what I'm doing here is for check key press for crab, I'm making sure that my image is the crab image, and then I say, then I do the regular old stuff. For crab, for the key down stuff. So I say if the key down is left, then turn -4. If the key down is right, turn 4. And then I stuck my move in at the end of this method, and I'll show you why in the next guy here. So what I'm doing for lobster is I'm saying set image to lobster image, and then I'm doing something different for is key down, is key up. What I'm doing for is key down left is I'm saying set the location to get x minus 4. So he's just going to move 4 to the left without doing any turning. And here, this one gets him to move 4 units to the right, or 4 cells, 4 pixels to the right without turning. Okay, so when he has the lobster image, he moves back and forth without turning. And when he is the crab image, he turns and then he moves in whatever direction he's facing. Alright, so let's see what that looks like. Compile. I'll stick a crab on here and hit run. Oh, so I already have my caps lock on. I'm going to take caps lock off. So when caps lock is off, he's in motion because he's got that move, that call to move inside the check keys for crab. But when I change him to lobster, he stops moving because I don't have the move method in there. But if I hit the right key, he moves to the right. If I move the left key, he moves left. Okay, and then if I hit caps lock off again, then he's back like that. All right, so that's how you can play around with caps lock.